What's up, everybody? Back with another Professional Picks weekly video. As always, we're going to talk about every game in the slate, but we're going to start out with our weekly picks. And we've been hot lately, Sliwa, especially if the Patriots can, get this win on Monday Night Football here. So just a reminder, if you're liking the page, definitely give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to keep getting this content. It really means a lot to us. And let us know in the comment section what you're thinking, what you like, and what you're picking this week. But with that, we'll review our Week 14 cards, Sliwa. Um, Minnesota, more importantly, Detroit overs keep hitting. I was a little scared at first, but that one hit. Our lock 2-unit play of the week. That nice teaser. Browns had me scared a little bit, but they pulled through.
Yeah.
But the Bucks just got demolished by the Niners. Ultimately, could not hang with that defense. And then Patriots -2. No matter what, we got a positive week because of that 2-unit play in the lock. But the Patriots -2 hitting would be real nice, and you know I'm going to be monitoring that game throughout this video too, Slee. I'll let you start off, Sliwa, with the Seahawks hosting the Niners here in Thursday Night Football, I believe. Um,
Yep, Thursday night game.
yeah, okay, gotcha. What are you thinking of this one?
I mean the Niners have looked amazing lately. The defense has really stepped up. Even with the Garoppolo injury, they haven't really missed a beat at all.
No, they
The
were looking
second he
real
came
nice.
in the game last week, and then really translated over to this week too, putting up 35 points, pretty sure. But
Yeah, 35,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Anyways, yeah. I mean, it just really goes to show how much those weapons, uh, just like how indisposable they are. You can switch anybody out at quarterback and they'll still put up some numbers.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
so much talent
but
there.
I mean, I don't love the Seahawks' chance in this one. Even though they are at home, they lost last week to the Panthers, and then I think, I mean, big part of it is their running back play. Kenneth Walker's hurt now. Rashad
Hmm.
Penny was really carrying them early, and he's still banged up going into this Thursday matchup. So I think I'm a little bit down on the Seahawks from where I was earlier in the season. I still think they can make the playoffs.
They definitely can make
I
the
just
playoffs.
don't personally love them in this matchup. I
This
think,
is a very tough matchup for them. Going against, I think they were saying the number one defense allowing yardage in the NFL here. You're talking about injuries in a short week for the Seahawks. On the flip side, one, Deebo Samuel is not playing this game. They're hoping he can return by the playoffs. Not as big, but definitely notable for this game. Brock Purdy, day to day with a rib injury. These guys can't get any luck at quarterback here in terms of injuries. I'm sure Brock Purdy's going to play. He's going to tough it out, but I think this guy has never played a divisional game on the road in Seattle before. It's a nightmare to be an opposing quarterback in this atmosphere. No matter what, you know they're going to be bringing the energy. So talking about, I think the struggles with the Seahawks on offense, we both think they're a little bit down, especially with the run game being a little bit hobbled against this great Niners defense. And on the flip side, Debo out and a hobbled quarterback in a hostile environment. I really don't see a lot of points being scored this game. I really like the under here at 43
yeah,
and a half. I think the Niners with Brock Purdy, even without Debo Samuel, are going to be able to put up points. That's not what I'm really betting on. I'm really betting on this Seahawks team struggling on offense against the Niners defense, which is just astounding in every aspect. Led by D'Amico Ryans, who's their D coordinator, but everyone's talking about him. He's the next Robert Saleh. Everyone's going to want this guy in the offseason to be their head coach, and he's going to have his choice of what job he wants.
yeah. No, I agree with everything you said, and this point doesn't really have too much backing behind it. But these primetime games have been such awful, low scoring games all
Yeah.
season.
Well, people
Like,
compete. When people are watching, everyone shows up. It matters. Everyone, I mean, and you have good defenses, especially that overpowers the Seahawks offense, then that's really going to show up. And they game plan so much for each other because a lot of times they're divisional opponents. They've seen each other before. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses, etc. It's just a tougher, harder fought game. Always, it seems like. And that's a good point. These primetime unders this year have been. That's not why I picked it, but
yeah,
they've been real nice here. So here we got the Colts +4 facing the Vikings. I'll start this one out. So I think the Vikings are lucky to just have one loss in the past couple of weeks. They were due for a loss against the Jets. They were lucky that the Jets were like 0 for 5 in the red zone against them. They let up a ton of yards, but could not convert there, and that's ultimately why the Vikings were able to pull away with a win at home here. Heading back to Minnesota off a loss against the Lions, which we both predicted but didn't have the stones to put in our card. but the over still hit. I think here the Colts coming off a bye, they're going to want to run the ball a lot always, especially with how poor their offensive line is. But this Vikings run defense, I know I'm stealing your thunder here, is really good. They are the second best run defense in the league. I talked about last week their weakness on the whole team, let alone defense, but the whole team. The one glaring weakness is their secondary, and you saw that against Detroit. You don't really have that problem against the Colts, who have a really terrible pass blocking offensive line, as you have seen with Ellinger and Matt Ryan getting strip sacked every single game this year, it seems like, with not a lot of great threats at wide receiver, especially outside Pittman. So they're really stout Minnesota front seven. I think it's going to give this Colts team fits, and especially Jonathan Taylor. You can limit him so much, but I think the Vikings will do a good job here. I know I like the Vikings -4. You must have really liked them because you made this one the lock. So I want to hear what you have to say too.
Yeah, no, I mean I love the Vikings -4 here. I know they're coming off the loss, but and this one seemed a little trappy initially, but the Colts are off a bye, so I think that's playing into this somewhat. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, though, I don't think Jeff Saturday is going to really take full advantage of his first NFL bye week, at least game planning strategy wise.
We will definitely
Yes,
see.
they'll recover a little bit, but you took my exact point here. I was going to get at that, like this Colts offense, and especially with an old school coach like Jeff Saturday, they found some of their success, or at least competitiveness, in the last few weeks in that run game, and they're gonna really struggle on the road against the Vikings front seven. So I like them a lot here -4. I also don't believe this is also got to be a noon game. I'm pretty sure.
Hey, as long as it's working for us, we're making plenty of units on noon Kirk Cousins. So I
We've
love
read the Vikings well this year.
yeah, this is one team it seems like we're got a decent read on. I'm looking Minnesota sixth best offense overall in the league. I mean, when you got guys like Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, you can see why. Kirk Cousins is also when he gets a clean pocket. Like, this is not just news this year, but it's been his career. He's deathly accurate. Not the good defense here in Indianapolis, not like a super stellar pass rush, definitely not below average either. But the real key to this, I think, is like I said, sixth best offense with the Vikings, fourth worst offense in the Colts. So I think you're gonna give the Vikings one too many opportunities to just get the ball in their hands and make some magic with all their playmakers. And I think that's really ultimately what's going to be the demise. Again, look at this. Colts third worst in pass rush this season. Like you're going to give Kirk Cousins time. You're going to give him the ball too much. I just don't see this again. This one of the worst offenses in football in Indianapolis hanging with the Vikings, especially after a loss. That's why I really like them here too. After a
Yeah, me
loss,
too.
always get
Loss.
get the boys fired up a little bit. Don't let them get comfortable. Moving on here, I was thinking about. I know I saw your pick. I had to do a quick run through the slides. So I'll let you take it. But I was thinking about this one. I couldn't pull a
Were you with
trigger.
me or against
I'm
me?
with you. I was with you. So
Okay.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. No, yeah. So just for some background, the Titans coming off a bad home loss to the Jaguars last week, and the Chargers just finally put it together against the Dolphins. Um, Winning a solid game. Honestly, not too exciting, but still a solid win
Primetime
after being
Herbert,
against
man.
a playoff team.
Yeah, big
But
win for
the
them.
Titans are reeling. They've lost their last three. I mean, they were 7-3 before that.
Yeah.
This is a solid playoff team. They definitely have not shown it late, but I still think they're a good football team and should be in the playoffs this year. Uh,
Well, it's hard to miss the playoffs in that AFC South
yeah,
division. It's not to catch
yeah.
you out.
I mean, yeah,
Just
they'll get to walk in that division, most likely at least.
yeah.
But I just think this team's due for a bounce back. I don't think they're going to lose and end up with a 500 record going into the postseason. And just looking at PFF, they're at 15 in the National Football League overall, and they
Mhm.
still have the Chargers at 28th. So those advanced stats are just definitely not buying into the Chargers. And then similar to that Vikings game, we're just looking at the Chargers. Looking at the running stats, the Chargers are the third worst rush defense in the league. The Titans, while they haven't been as dominant as they have in the last couple of years, they're still top 10 rush offense. And Derrick Henry finally had his first 100-yard rushing game in over a month. So
Yeah,
I like the way they're trending, or at least in the running game. And
I
I just
agree.
think they're due for a bounce back. I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think they're going to continue the losing streak to end it out. Uh, yeah, I think this is a gimme game for them, or not a gimme, but uh, spread implies they're even. But I also don't think the Chargers have a true home field advantage.
Yeah, no. One, they don't really. I mean, did you hear that crowd in Miami? I was watching the game, and for the first quarter, I thought the game was in Miami with how loud that crowd was. They really don't have a true home field advantage. You hit it on a lot of points that I really liked. Number one being just this is a good team. This is a game I think they bounce back with. That is why. That's never enough for me to put it to the add it to the card, but it's certainly a good reason for this game. I think you get a really good dosage of recency bias here. People are really down on the Titans lately, and after that Sunday night win, I think people are higher than the Chargers than they should be. So this line might even be more towards the Chargers' favor than it should be. I think that's a good point for the Titans too. And finally, the one reason I really like this one and why I'm convincing myself as I talk is I like the Titans over the Chargers for the same reason I like the Patriots over the Cardinals this week. And that game is not final yet. It is 20-13 Patriots. So they've scored 10 unanswered points in the second half, which is great. But I want a physical, disciplined, intelligent team. That's the Titans here. That's the Patriots over the seemingly more talented team, but that is lacks discipline. I don't believe in Brandon Staley, head coach in LA. And that's really why I like this. Again, Chargers due for a bounce back. The Titans due for a bounce back, anyways. But they are going to play tough football, and that is not what this Chargers team does. They are going to run the football. That is not what the Chargers want to face, and they are going to play smart football. And this is more opinion based on anything I've said, but I really don't think the Chargers play smart football especially with a lot of these fourth down calls and things like that. They're definitely a lot riskier and less calculated. I think. I don't think it's hard to say that many coaches are worse than Mike Vrabel. So I really like the spot that Titans are in here. And I think they're going up against a team that the Titans are made to beat, just winning the trenches on both sides of the football here. Titans don't have the best offensive line, but it's certainly going to look great when they go against the third worst run defense. And again, they have one of the best run defense in football. So they're going to make this Chargers team one dimensional and have to pass the ball early and often. Again, Mike Vrabel, when he gets that kind of advantage, uh, doesn't squander it often. I talk about him every week, and I'm just so impressed with what he can do with seemingly a lot less talent than everybody else. So glad you added this one. It's more we talked about it. I like your points. I like mine too. I like the Chargers +3 here, and probably money line. I think
I was
+3
considering it.
is basically money. I think it's good to do that because you never know what Herbert can do in the fourth quarter. But I like the Titans there. The more we both talk about it. Matchup of 2 weeks ago, this time in Landover, Maryland here. Giants facing the Commanders. 3.5 point favorites for the Commanders here. Game ended a tie last couple weeks ago. But if you recall, I think the Giants were up 20-13 late in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. Yep.
Let a little Heineke magic go awry and then ended up tying in overtime, which is still good enough for our +2 lock of the week that week too. Boom. What do you think here, Slade? And there's rematch and low total game, which I don't think anyone's surprised about. Of foes that have just seen each other very recently.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had some pretty good luck fading the recency bias this week, and you made a point just recently, but I think the Commanders have definitely been playing their best football of the entire season the last few weeks, and the Giants have been playing their worst football the last couple of weeks. I
I agree.
this line seems pretty fair, indicating almost an even matchup, but I just I want to bet on the team that's a little bit down right now. I mean, the Giants, like you just mentioned, they're up 20-13 in the fourth. If any, they controlled the game and they honestly just blew it at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Anything could have happened in overtime, but they had the ball to start. But I felt more like the Giants blew that game than the Commanders came back and tied it
I
even.
agree. I agree.
But so for all those reasons, I like the spread a lot here. I don't necessarily love the Giants to win outright, but we just saw in that last matchup how evenly matched what these teams are, and you see the total at 40, it's going to be low scoring.
I
I could see it being decided by a field goal, and that's all we need at the 3.5.
I agree. I think I'm not gonna add too much on. I think Commanders should win this game. They're certainly the better team. But I just think it's gonna be a really tight game against two teams that are, exact same record. They're fighting for the number 3 spot in this division, but still a playoff spot at that. If they win this game, then they have a very real shot at winning the playoffs. They lose, they have a very little shot. So it's gonna be a very competitive game, very tough on both sides. I think very similar to what we saw on a couple of weeks ago when these two teams matched up. And I think that ultimately the game's decided by a field goal. I think Washington wins this game by a field goal. If the spread was -3, I'd probably be on Washington. But give me 3 in the hook. And we both like the Giants here. This is probably our least confident of all of them, but I still think I like this one because and you made a good point on the mean regression. You got to know when to
They're trending opposite ways.
buy low and sell high, and that's just kind of the name of the game when you're doing sports gambling here. Cardinals here. I get a feeling this line's going to change a little bit, but I actually like Colt McCoy at quarterback for the Cardinals almost more than Kyler Murray. As Kyler Murray went down with an apparent knee injury that I may guess is going to sideline him for the rest of the year. Going against the Broncos that showed some life against Kansas City for sure. I'll just say this. Look at this low total here. Incredibly low total. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to put up any points against this Rutgers defense. And if they do, it's going to be at the cost of a few turnovers from whoever's playing quarterback in Arizona. And then not only that, I think this game, again, is so low total and so close. I don't even care who wins the game because, I see a game with such a low total with the home team being an underdog. I'm going to take that tease all day long as it's been working for us these last few weeks. So I definitely have the Broncos. I think the Broncos win the game. I bet his line changed a little bit, but Broncos are going to win this game. And just to be really sure about it, and more so that I like the other leg of this teaser, I'm throwing this one in a 2-team teaser. I didn't want to go too far into it, but if you had anything to add in as much or little analytics as you want, Slee.
Nothing to add too particular, but I think just one matchup even in this one is the Broncos have one of the best secondaries in the entire league. I know the defense is great, but specifically that
Secondary.
secondary,
Yeah.
that's what you need to stop this Arizona offense who just loves to pass. DeAndre Hopkins, the first, second, and third option right now.
Exactly. I was about to say, I'm glad you said that. Take away DeAndre Hopkins. And that's what the Patriots are doing. I saw they flash a stat like the amount of receptions DeAndre Hopkins has against when he plays the Patriots and Bill Belichick is absurdly low, like unbelievably low. I can't. I thought it was 0, but I got bad eyes. Might have been 8, uh, but that was like I couldn't believe it, no matter what. So this goes to show you shut him down, you really shut this whole Cardinals offense down. I think that's exactly what the Broncos are going to do. So I like the Broncos here. Even if I bet you this line, you can change this to Broncos -2.5. I still like it. The Broncos are winning this game. I firmly believe it. And all because of their defense. They showed life against Kansas City. I think that was a big morale game for them just to say, hey, we're not just going to get flattened by these guys. They were down by a lot. And
Finally put
they
points
came
on the
back.
board.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Saw a lot of them. Last game in our card, Eagles traveling Chicago. Chicago being coming off a bye, so that helps. 8.5-point dogs at home here. I'll start. And people know that, we got the Cubs in Illinois had some. Like, people know that we are Bears fans. I think the Bears are going to get flattened this game. I don't think they can come even close to hanging with the Eagles, mostly because their defense is so disgustingly bad. I have no idea how they're going to try to stop this Eagles offense. I almost wanted the over because I think the Bears off a bye might be able to put up a few points, but this Eagles defense is really solid too. Certainly, I want to say top 5 in the league. I'm going to confirm right now. Top 2 in the league, even better. This Eagles team is amazing in all facets of football here. Honestly, I think they win by like 20, but I'm taking the -8 and teasing it down to 2.5. So all they got to do is win by a field goal, and I'm feeling really confident in that one. I would be shocked if the Bears knocked out the Eagles. It'd be kind of fun to see, but I really think that I just don't know how the Bears are going to stop them, and I think the Bears are going to. While their offense, I think, will put up points coming off a bye, not enough against the number 2 defense. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bears are finally at the stage, and yes, they want to still get some reps with Fields, but they're going to be tanking. They're not going to. There's no point in winning this game. this late in the season. They basically have the second pick or the third pick locked up. I
Yes.
know
Yeah.
that's not what all the guys on the field are going to be playing for, but
No way.
just still generally, the Eagles have much more to play for here. Um, I don't know. I know like Fields is still running and like this late in the season, which kind of scares
It
me.
scares me. That's what
would
happened to
hope
Mitch
I'd hope
Trubisky.
he'd slow down on that, but
This game scares
I
me.
mean, yeah, the Eagles are just that much better that I don't think it's worth getting too into the weeds with it. But because the Eagles dominate every single position, every single matchup on the field.
This line seems too trappy where I feel like somehow the Bears are going to cover 8.5 for no reason. But I still really like this minus
Yeah,
2.5 that were
yeah.
teasing me too. Just
Eagles by a
like
touchdown.
the Eagles have the number one pass blocking the O line in football, but I didn't really need to look up to know. They're just incredible. Versus this Bears defense at number one is the worst in football, but their pass rush in front seven is abysmal. Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Gainwell, every single person that touches the ball in this Eagles backfield is going to run all over them. And then when they do decide to pass, Jalen Hurts is going to have all day to find Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. Uh, I mean, that's the story on paper. That all makes sense. We'll see what happens, but I would be surprised if you saw much different on Sunday. So take a look
Yeah.
at the card here, Slade. I really like this teaser, but Vikings -4. Here's the lock. I like that a lot too. Again, this Colts offense is abysmal. Their defense, their pass rush especially, is what I think is really going to put them in trouble here. Devon Gilmore, though, watch out for that matchup against Justin Jefferson. He's been playing very well this year. It says over Seahawks 4.5, where it's actually the under. No big deal.
Yeah.
They like the under there in this San Francisco, who has the number one defense and allowing yards per game here. And then Brock Purdy at quarterback hobbled there. If it's not him, then who for them, you know? So Thursday night game, not a lot of time to recover from the physical game that they played in, both teams. Um, so I think with the injuries and the defenses, that the under in that game. I'll let you take the latter half of this slide.
Yeah.
Slip.
So and then our rematch we had in the lock 2 weeks ago. Giants came out with the tie, which still put us in the plus money. Especially another close divisional game here. They just played, so I think it's gonna be really grinded out, still fresh on each other's minds. I don't think there's gonna be a massive strategic difference between these two just after 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
And then looking at the Titans +3 here, this one we're really playing into those mean regressions. The Titans losing their last 3 games, they're a solid playoff team. And then shit, I already forgot who they're playing.
Titans, Chargers.
Oh yeah, the Chargers. Yeah, they just beat the Dolphins last night, and Chargers have been up and down all season, but we do think there's some recency bias there. And then Woj just loves those hard nosed football teams like we're
That's
seeing.
what I'm telling you, man. Give me. I want
So,
to. I want to reiterate that one more time for anyone that just doesn't buy it. These guys play the right brand of football, the way it's meant to be played. I love it. Tough teams beat soft teams way more often than not, and there's so many examples throughout this whole season. Smart teams beat risky not disciplined teams. Look at the Patriots right now. They just scored another touchdown. They're up 14. They have scored 17 unanswered points in the second half. These teams know how to make halftime adjustments. These teams know how to win games. The Titans are one of those teams. The Chargers are not. I absolutely, the more I think about it, love the Titans here. Great ads, Lewa.
thank you, Woj.
All right, we're moving on here. This is going to be a weird game because I think Lamar Jackson is week to week. Let's see what happens there. Brett Hundley, or not Brett Hundley. What's his name? It's Hundley, but I can't remember his first.
Tyler, right?
Yeah, it's Tyler Hundley. Brett Hundley was the guy I went to high school with. Um, um, he's also hurt now too. So what's going on in the QB backfield in Baltimore? I don't think that's really going to be decided until much later in the week. If Lamar plays, then I'm sure this line's going to move anyways. So that's a huge factor there. What do you think about this game? I really don't have too many opinions because when there's so many questions around quarterback, it's really hard. It's really hard for me to predict.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was just looking at the total there, but it's so low to begin with. It's it's gonna be a really low, close game. Obviously, if Lamar plays, the line completely flips. But But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a tough divisional matchup. I guess I would lean with the Ravens plus the points.
Yeah,
But I could also just see Nick Chubb running the entire game,
right. You
being
never
like
know.
a 21-7 type score.
If either Huntley or Lamar plays, I actually probably like the Ravens here because I don't like the way Deshaun Watson's been looking so far. I'm not a big believer in him yet. Maybe he turns it around. Maybe it's this week, but I don't believe him that much yet. The Bills at home. Look how young Josh Allen is in this picture. Bills at home. Um, Trying to avenge loss against the Dolphins here. Minus 7.5. I'll say this. I do think the Bills win this game. I think they're I love the old revenge game kind of thing. But I think 7.5 against this Dolphins team is too much. Again, people are probably down on them for the really poor performance that Tua had on Sunday. And I really don't care. I think that's kind of like the quarterback I expected out of him. I don't think he's as good as everyone's been saying, but I certainly think he's got flashes of, a lot of talent, especially with how good his receivers are in Miami. We've seen this Buffalo secondary, especially, really kind of slump to the occasion this year. We thought was going to be a really, strong point in their team. Got decimated by injuries, and just hasn't been playing up to par. So I think that again, Bills win this game at 7.5. I like that. I like that for the Dolphins. That's my quick take.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you here on the 7.5. This is the Saturday night game. We got Saturday night or
I love
Saturday
it.
football this week.
Yeah, baby.
But so yeah, I mean divisional matchup, just expecting it to be a close one. Especially like you mentioned, the Dolphins they match up well to at least put up points.
Yeah.
They just want to pass the ball all day. So yeah, I think they cover. The one interesting thing though is this last week in SoFi they had like the space heaters in 55 degrees. It's gonna be
That's
snowing
pretty
up in
soft. That
Buffalo.
is actually really soft.
I don't know. That might make me lean
Well, now that I
towards
know that,
Ravens.
I think I like the Bills. That's awesome. No, I had no idea about that. All right, that's interesting. That's something to watch because they're not going to be able to handle that. Here's something really intriguing. I almost added this either straight up or to the card here. Lions facing the Jets in New York. This reminds me a lot of when the Lions play the Patriots here.
I
The
knew you were gonna say
Patriots,
that.
yeah,
That's what my thought was too.
it is like a coin flip game, but who wins more often than not in the good offense versus the good defense? The good defense. That's just think about there are so many examples, and I think the best one to ever pull upon was Peyton Manning and that record-setting Broncos team against the Seahawks and Legion of Boom in the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks blew them out. And people are like, how is anyone going to stop this Denver offense with Peyton Manning? And a good defense always finds a way, especially when you got a good head coach like Saleh. And I love what he's doing with the Jets. Jets are really fighting for a playoff spot too. The Lions are playing, they're always going to try to play and try to win under Dan Campbell no matter what. That's why I think next year they make some big steps here. But I just think that this Jets team, you give me this +1, it is telling me that I would think it's going to be a really close game. And I do too. I think give me the defense over anything else in this one. Mike White, if he plays, I think he's looking pretty solid this year, honestly. He got rocked a few times in Buffalo, though, so we'll see. But Zach
Yeah.
Wilson, when he plays too, he's won more games than his losses here. He just looks terrible in his losses. So I think if you do put him back in this week, he's facing a very favorable Lions defense, and honestly, might be another good week to bet the over, but I'm not gonna this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think my initial thoughts looking at this is like you mentioned with the Patriots. I'd have to look into specific matchups. So I know there's been a handful of times where the Lions have played like just really elite defenses this year and just have not shown up. They do have some guys getting healthier, but yeah, like give me the Jets at home, plus money.
I love
Seems like I don't know why I know the Lions are good at or like and they're getting better each week, getting
capable is a good
healthier,
word.
but like all of a sudden the books just jumped all over the Lions in like the last 2 weeks.
I
And it
know.
seems
I
a
mean,
little
they looked really good. They've won like four straight or like four of their last five or something. They're
yeah,
hot.
it is like 4 or 5 now.
Patriots live line minus 14.5. So it's looking solid. Um,
Yeah.
I freaking love the Patriots. You know what you're getting. Oh, I didn't even know that was happening. Um, you know what you're getting out of the Patriots. I'm just gonna say this: I like the Patriots in this game too. For the exact same reason I like the Patriots against the Cardinals. They're a tough team. I don't think the Raiders are tough. And more importantly, the Raiders might be the worst coach team in football. And that is all I need to say. The fact that I like the Patriots here. Their offense is really struggling, though. He really struggled. They're putting up 27 against the Cardinals, maybe more by the time this game ends. A lot of halftime adjustments here, a lot of injuries too. So that's, it's a close game. I would definitely stay away from it. I don't like this game at all in terms of betting, but if I had to pick a side, I'm always going to take the Patriots in a close game. Just doesn't matter. That's just my rule of thumb, and it's served me well, and it's serving us well this week.
Well, like I mean, you just saw the Raiders give the Baker Mayfield hopped off the jet and onto the field and just beat the Raiders.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was hilarious. That was
Like
amazing.
the Raiders just gave the Rams like their first win since October.
That was
Like
embarrassing.
like I know the Raiders have put together like a couple wins here in the last couple of weeks, but I remember one was against the Broncos. They're still a bad football
I will
team.
say this: just they're a bad football team. In their defense, the Raiders, that Thursday night game was definitely rigged. There are some games I know that are rigged in my life. That was one of them.
And Baker's back.
The Rams Bengals Super Bowl also extremely rigged. That one on Thursday was rigged, and I loved it because it benefited me. But if you're looking for some mean regression for the NFL rigging teams, maybe it's the week to bet the Raiders. This one was interesting to me because I wanted to bet the Bengals here, but I just couldn't pull the trigger. Someone tells me the Bucks are going to give them a game.
Boy, when I looked at the public or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or just the volume of betting, because I was like, oh, like Bengals easy. 92% of the people are on the Bengals.
Yeah, that's why it's got to be the Bucks here. I almost want to do the over too. I got a feeling that the Bucks just match up very
I
well.
would.
Vegas is fine against the Bengals, and I think they do because the Bengals want to play against teams that want to be at the Chiefs and run and gun and throw the ball all the time, and that's not really what the Bucks do. But the Bucks offense has been stymied all year. Um, I don't really like betting on the Bucks anymore because I just don't know what's going to happen to them. They're just a bad team.
I mean, at the same
They
time,
don't
the
score.
Bucks are also the worst team in the NFL against the spread. So
Interesting.
people are still kind of taking them, which
But we think
meaningfully
about mean reversion, might have it there, but they don't score a lot, and they don't let the other team score a lot, and so plus points, at home, it makes a lot of sense. I think if you made twist my arm and made me pick, I'd be picking the Bucks here, but I don't think I'll unless they lose this game by a lot and then get a really favorable line. I really don't like taking them right now, but both these teams are playing for a lot. The Bengals
yeah, both very
are
much.
have, especially with the quarterback injury in Baltimore, have a prime opportunity to take the division title. They're a tiebreaker away. So basically a half game back or a game back. They got to make up one on the Ravens, but the Bucks are hanging on in this divisional lead by a thread. I would almost want to see them not make it and see like the Falcons or the Panthers. I want the Panthers to make it so bad; it'd be
The
hilarious.
Panthers would be sweet.
They draw Cowboys in the first round and get destroyed. But we're talking too long about this one, I realize. But yeah, you made some good points about the Bucks there. It's I think just because how much the public is on the Bengals that you should be on the Bucks this one. Talking about the rest of the NFC South here, we're doing good. Just kind of look. I know it says on the top left. I'm not looking at it at all. Um, Falcons Saints here -4 at home. I think in this tight of a division and how bad these two teams have been, give me the +4. I think anything can happen in one of these divisional matchups, anyways. Especially between these two teams, they always play each other really tough. In
Yo,
my
Ritter's in this week. Ritter's making his debut.
really,
Yeah, because
didn't know.
Mariota got hurt. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. I don't even care. +4, baby.
I'm saying Ritter debut. I'm going Saints -4.
You're probably right, and that's why I'm not betting this game. But the quarterback situation. Under probably is the best bet in this game. It's again close. I think it's gonna be a close game. It's because it always is between these two teams. And then I think the Saints defense is really solid, as you saw against the Buccaneers offense there until the last 2 minutes. And I think the Falcons defense steps up here and makes it close. But the under is what I like the most there. I think look at the Blake Bortles there. I think this line surprised me a little bit. That's probably why I like the Jaguars here. 4.5. And I guess the Cowboys didn't look that good. I still think the Cowboys are amazing. So I don't read into anything last week at all. I think they were 100% looking past the Texans and they got caught up in that game and they were lucky to win. But I'm not worried about them at all. Against the Jags here, I really don't have. I just would stay away from this game because you saw really bad things out of the Cowboys, I guess, and really good things out of the Jags. I definitely don't believe in the Jags. I certainly believe in the Cowboys. I'm partial to -4.5, but I know I like the Cowboys more than just about everyone else in America. So We'll take that for what you will. But what do you think here?
No, I mean I think I still lean Cowboys spread here. The my issue with betting on this one is I feel like the Jags are a complete wild card team. Like
100%.
they just got killed by the Lions and then they win last week like pretty handedly. Like either their offense shows up and drops 40 or they have like 10 points. And
Yeah,
so
they're a weird team to read. It's probably the best to stay away
I
from
never
them.
know what I can get from them.
Two other teams to read, dude. Just we got to go quick, but for me, the Steelers, Mitch Trubisky is certified terrible. This is the first time I've ever said this. Like really, like I never think it was that good, but I always want to give him a chance. I'm done. I'm like I closed the book on Mitch Trubisky after what I saw. And they had every opportunity to beat the Ravens, and he blew it for me. Can't stand it. Panthers here. I don't like watching or betting on either two teams, so I'm certainly going to stay away, especially in a game with a total of 38 and a half. Probably, I'm leaning towards Panthers though. I like what they got going.
I kind of like the Panthers. I like the idea of them sneaking in the back door
They're
and
playing. They're playing for something. Give them that. Give them that division title. All right, last two games here.
ever since they fired Matt Rule,
It
I want
happens,
to look
dude.
into that.
Well, that's why I'm mad. Why I like the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Broncos. Why have none of them fired their head coach? Give them a boost. Give them something. Even the Colts fired their head coach. They seemingly got better too. It's like even with a guy that's never had a single experience coaching at the NFL level or even college, it just signals change on the organization and it really changes people's perspectives. Here we got Baker Mayfield traveling to Green Bay. Green Bay off a bye. I think they're gonna 7.5's a lot for this low of a total. They really do struggle against good defenses, and I think you're gonna see LA struggle against the Green Bay defense here. I probably should have thrown Green Bay in a teaser. I really like this spot for them teaser. If they win out, they control their own destiny. If they win every single game, they run the table, Rodgers style, they make the playoffs. And I don't think they don't know that. I actually I'm gonna find a way to add Green Bay to a teaser because they're gonna win this game.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think they're pretty safe to win the game at least.
Baker Mayfield, come on, he got cheated for the win. They gave him the win.
I mean, if you think until those last minute of the game, the Rams were like the worst offense I've seen this year. I
They
mean,
were
same deal with the Bucks the week before, but until Baker's like game-winning drives, like they couldn't do a single thing before then.
I really like the Packers. Again, they went out, and this is a shout out Joe Schneider. This is his tweets that made me aware of this. If the Packers went out, they make it. You think he knows these things exist? I highly doubt it. I think we would have heard from him by now.
I love how this was probably like supposed to be a huge matchup going into the
Oh
season.
yeah. Oh,
Packers Rams
definitely.
Monday night.
Yeah, they probably thought that was going to be just like NFC Championship preview.
Yeah.
Again, it's like the Cowboys Texans of last week. I don't have a single thing to say about it besides the Chiefs are gonna win this game, just like it's the Cowboys would, and they did. Except this time, I think the Chiefs actually cover this one. Anything from you?
Nah. Chiefs
Good. I love
winning.
that. I love that analysis. Nah, yeah. Big. It was the
Not
battle.
watching that one.
Last week was the Battle of Texas. It's gonna have a little more emotion. This one means nothing to the Texans. They don't even want to win. Why should they? Prize picks, as always. We got a new sign up last week. Let's get another one. Use the code ProPicks. Get a free $100, dude. Sign up with code ProPicks. $100 in your back pocket. It's great. Do a little recap of the bets. Me and Slee were both like the Vikings -4, so that's how we had to throw the lock on it. Again, just a great mismatch there between offense and defense there for the Vikings. Love the spot they're in. Under, just want to clarify, under, we'll change this for the recap next week. Under in the San Francisco-Seattle game. A lot of injuries there. Some really good defenses, especially in San Francisco in a hostile environment for Brock Purdy, who's not healthy in a short week. I think it's a good spot for the under there. Giants rematch against the divisional rivals this time in Maryland there. We don't love the Giants, but we like the way that the public's against them. Every time the public zigs, we want to zag. That's how we've been making our money, Sliwa. Give me the hook there. Titans, again, zig when you zag. They're due for a win probably in LA. And then finally, we got that Broncos, who I think are going to win outright against the Cardinals at home. And the Eagles, who I think are going to stop the Bears. Anything you want to add real quickly, Sliwa? You got about 30 seconds.
Nah, nothing particular.